martyrdom, and succession. In 644 CE, in 23R of the Hijri calendar, Umar was attacked while leading the Fajr dawn prayer in the mosque in Medina by a Persian slave named Abu Lu'a Firoz. The wounds he sustained led to his death on 26 al-Hijr, 23R. Islamic Info Center. Before his death, Umar appointed a council of 6 senior companions to choose his successor, thereby instituting a consultative mechanism for leadership succession. He was buried near the Prophet's mosque in Medina, close to the grave of the Prophet and Abu Bakr. His passing marked the end of one of the most dynamic periods of early Islam. 10. Legacy and lessons. The story of Umar ibn al-Khattab is not simply historical. It carries many lessons for leadership, justice, humility, governance, and faith. Some key takeaways. Transformation is possible. Umar went from fierce opponent of Islam to one of its greatest leaders. His transformation reminds us that no one is beyond change when Allah guides. Service over status. Despite wielding great power, Umar viewed his role as servant of the people and accountable to Allah. Justice is non-negotiable. He believed that every subject, Muslim or non-Muslim, had a right under the law, and that rulers must not abuse their power. Simplicity and leadership. His personal austerity kept him grounded and close to the people he served. Welfare state in early Islam. Because of his reforms, for example, Bait al-Amdil, structured stipends for the needy. The first census, the first structured judiciary, the first welfare system in the Muslim world, inclusivity and tolerance. His treatment of conquered peoples and his policies demonstrate that strength need not mean oppression, that victory must be coupled with compassion, consultation and accountability. His willingness to be questioned, to check his officials, to institute mechanisms of oversight are crucial leadership attributes. Legacy endures. His name, Al-Faruq, the one who distinguishes between right and wrong, still carries weight, reminding Muslims of the ideal of justice. 11. A narrative retelling to bring the above into a cohesive story form. Imagine the following narrative voice. In the scorching sands of pre-Islamic Mecca, young Umar walked among the proud tribes of Quraysh. He was tall, he was strong, he was respected, he settled disputes, he was feared by some. When word began of one who claimed to be a prophet, Muhammad, Umar saw this as a threat to his tribe, to his traditions, to his world. So one morning he clasped his sword and set out to confront this new movement. Blood surged in his veins. He had resolved to kill the prophet and restore Quraysh's dominance. But fate had other plans. On his way he was stopped by a companion and asked, "Where are you going, Umar? Why this sword?" He replied, "To kill Muhammad." The man said, "Then first go to your own household. Your sister and her husband have embraced Islam." Umar's rage boiled, but he stormed into his sister's home. He heard the recitation of the Quran. Confused, angry, his hand struck his sister's face. He saw her bleeding. In that moment something shifted. The verses floated in his mind. "Indeed, I am a day. There is no deity except me. So worship me and establish prayer for my remembrance." 2014. The words pierced his soul. He turned, sword in hand still, and walked to the Prophet. He dropped to his knees and said, "I testify there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger." In Mecca the Muslims looked on. The powerful Umar had submitted. Their hearts lifted. From that point, Umar stood firmly by the Prophet, offering his strength, protecting the weak, defending the nascent community. When the Prophet passed away, Umar felt a void. The man he loved and followed was gone. But the state of Islam must stand. When Abu Bakr nominated Umar as Caliph, he accepted with humility. "I fear for you, but Allah is sufficient," he said. As Caliph Umar walked the streets of Medina at night, he heard the faint cry of an orphan. He asked the muezzin quietly, "What of the orphan's provision this month?" He visited the treasury, looked at the ledgers, asked, "Why is this man behind in his stipend?" When the empire grew, when Syrian and Persian lands fell, Umar did not celebrate with banquets. He walked, he inspected, he said, "Even if a dog dies of hunger by the Euphrates, I am responsible." One day, in Jerusalem, the keys of the city were handed to him. He could have entered in triumph. Instead, he walked humbly, on foot, pausing to appreciate the suffering of past people under oppression. He made a pact with the people of the city. You are under the protection of Allah and of the Muslims. You keep your churches, you keep your ways, we keep ours. And then came that fateful morning in 644 CE. Umar led Fajr prayer in the Prophet's mosque. A blow struck. He fell wounded. In the hospital, someone said, "Oh, Amir al-Mu'minin, what have you done for your people?" He replied weakly, "I have done what I could. By Allah's help." He summoned 6 trusted companions and said, "You must select a successor to carry the banner of Islam." He passed on, buried in the same soil as his beloved Prophet, his name echoing in the hearts of believers for centuries. 12. Reflection for today. What can we take from Umar's story as individuals and communities today? In a world of powerful leaders and institutions, the ideal is still one who serves humbly, who checks his own power, who sees every person, even the weakest, under his care. In our own lives, transformation matters, no matter where someone comes from. With sincerity and faith, great change is possible. Umar's example assures us there is hope. In community and governance, justice cannot be lip service. Systems must be built so that the poor, the weak, the minority are protected. Umar's welfare reforms are early models of that. In faith, Umar reminds us that belief is not only in our hearts, it must reflect in our actions, especially how we treat those less fortunate. Legacy. Leadership is not about how many you conquer, but how many you uplift, how many you serve. Umar's conquests are vast, yes, but his true legacy lies in his justice, his welfare work, his humility. 13. Conclusion. The life and story of Umar ibn al-Khattab is one of challenge and change, of might and mercy, of rulership and responsibility. From Mecca's staunch opposer to Caliph of a vast empire, he carried the torch of justice, simplicity, accountability, and service. As we look back more than 14 centuries later, the lessons remain. Service before status, accountability before power, humility before greatness. Umar's story is not just a story of the past, it is a guidepost for the present and future. Allah, give us the wisdom to learn from his life, to embody the spirit of his justice, humility, and faith.